Hello everyone, I'm Khushbu from Segen Mantras, and we have recently started with topic wise discussions and queries on various topics. And so far, we have covered all about reading, all about toilet training, and some more topics. I can't recall them all now, but how to develop play skills, how to use visual cards and visual schedule, on which we did full fledged webinars, and we've posted the videos here on YouTube, which you can access anytime. And so this time I thought, instead of sending an audio message on the group, I will put up this audio on YouTube so that anybody can access it anytime. This is an audio message, a little long one, answering to all the questions that I received on all about stories, a topic of discussion for this week. So these are not like this is not any specific points on how to work on building reading and retelling story skills in the child, but answers to all the parents' queries that came up on this topic all about stories. So let's get started. Let me start with question number one. Okay, so moving with the queries, the first one that I have: child is at the age of 4.4 years and currently he likes to read large print books with pictures, but they should be either rhymes books or should have names of objects, not really into storybooks. Very interested in the books in general, can sight read and learn the word spellings. So that is the child's present level. We have a specific format on which parents have mentioned their queries. Currently, trying and doing started with some simple storybooks with just one or two lines on each page and are about animals. Trying to read these books along with him before bedtime or when he's a bit relaxed. Also, adding pictures of characters in the story in a vase and have him point at them when I ask a who what question in between. Not consistently interested in this activity. Sometimes he tends to grab the book from my hand and flip all the pages and return it back. So my concerns are, I want to encourage reading books together so that his comprehension and language skills develop apart from just focusing on the words. Shared reading has been a difficult goal to achieve so far. Perfect. So, see, this is something where the child is not interested currently, but it is our interest, and we are trying to bring him into our world of storybooks, which he's not interested. And until it is coming from, from within for him, it will not happen. So let's go down to the level with where your child is finding it an enjoyable thing, something which interests him. So like you mentioned, he likes to you have tried working with the books where there is more of picture and less of text, and he's more interested when you show him pictures of either objects or rhymes or something. So there are books available with pictures, just the picture stories, or you can also search it with the name Big Picture. You can Google also, or you can create your own picture, like in a Word document, bring in 4 or 5 different pictures together and create your own picture. Put some background color filling and do that, and do a lot of picture talking with the child. Let him first try to build his own story with you. You build a story for him just by looking at the picture. So it starts stepwise. First you will do the receptive language part. He will identify each thing. If the child is verbal, he would be able to speak out and uh, what each thing is, or whatever questions you ask. If the child is still at a stage where he's yet to speak, yet to get verbal, he can point. So basically we are working on the receptive part first, and then the expressive part would come, which again you would model first, both receptive and expressive. So first you would model, the child would observe, then you would ask, and the child will point, show, speak, and answer, whatever is the level at which your child is currently. Don't push him, don't force him, don't take the pressure on your head that this is something I should achieve in like in a day's time or in a week's time. Just go with the flow, give your child enough time to enjoy the process, be in it, you know. Also, like you mentioned, he's more fond of rhymes and pictures of rhymes. So you can build stories in and around the rhymes. Either you will have the pictures in some old books, you can cut them out from there, paste it in your separate file or a story book that you want to make stories out of it, or you can actually take out a picture from Google or something, or just let it go in the mute mode on TV in the videos. When you're playing it on the videos, play the play some other one which the child has not seen recently, because you know, if he recalls that ye to old McDonald's rhyme hai, he would want to unmute it and listen to it. So either which ways. So gradually, this will develop a shared reading where the child is taking the lead, you are sharing his experience, and then we'll come to a point where he is into it, like he loves reading, either mama reading, him listening, or however, like I always say, whatever level the child is at, we don't have to rush, but we have to go from the we have to start from the base always. The second question that I have, the child is at the age 5.8 years, where she understands small stories and answers to the questions as well. But when asked to retell the story, she can't. And when I start like ek baar ek hathi tha, to she will speak the next line, but not on her own. Trying with the turn taking, like aaj mama sunaegi, then the child, but it doesn't work. Yeah, so actually, we have to work on building the narration skills first. अगर हम डायरेक्टली एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे कि पूरी पूरी स्टोरी बच्चा बता दे, तो इट्स डिफ़िकल्ट फॉर देम इवन इफ इट इज़ 2 lines. So to build the narration skills, we have to do something, or we have to start with something where the child himself has experienced that thing. So what I did with my child was, we used to pick up a lot of real time instances, real situations and parts from real activities from the day. Like, I'll tell you, I must have told this, 100 times earlier also, but let me give the same example. So my child comes to ask me for a cold coffee or anything. It could be anything. It could be pulao, it could be sabudana khichdi, it could be Maggie. So we did this with sabudana khichdi also. अब मुझे क्योंकि recall हो गया, तो he comes and asks me कि मुझे sabudana khichdi खाना है, and he literally brings the dabba to you. So I told him, this is hard and we can't make it right away, तो अभी आप कुछ और खा लो, but okay, let's see how do we make sabudana khichdi. And I called it a story. चलो, let's see what is the story of sabudana khichdi. बच्चों के लिए सब कुछ फन है, सब कुछ स्टोरी है. इट्स ऑल अबाउट हाउ लाउड एक्सप्रेशंस वी पुट इन, और हम उसको कितना एग्जैजरेट करते हैं इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ स्टोरी. So I made him wash and soak the sabudana. After 2 hours, when it became a little soft, I showed him कि see, now it is थोड़ा सा soft. We can think of making sabudana khichdi for dinner. Lunch में तो नहीं बन पाया, ब्रेकफास्ट में नहीं बन पाया, लंच में नहीं बन पाया, अब हम डिनर में बना सकते हैं लेकिन इसको. So I'm not describing it stepwise, but then I involved him in every single step. And at the end of the day, because initially short-term memory recall is little difficult, so same day or immediately after making it, when the child is eating or when the child is having his cold coffee, what he's prepared, you make him write down. Like you go on asking questions, probe questions, ताकि वो answer दे, and write it in the form of a paragraph or a story format. So, like for Sabudana Khichdi, one day there was a boy who really wanted to have some Sabudana Khichdi. But unfortunately, he did not know how to cook. So, see, this I'm talking at my child's level. हो सकता है हमें छोटे बच्चे के लिए या whatever is the level of child, उस हिसाब से हमको step wise sequencing, language, questioning, answering, the child questioning, तो बीच बीच में ऐसे sections भी आप डाल सकते हैं जहाँ पे the child has to question you कि इसके बाद क्या, ऐसा कैसे. तो स्टेप से चलेंगे, बट दिस इज़ जस्ट एन आइडिया आई एम गिविंग यू. रियल टाइम चीज़ें आप पिक करो, नॉट जस्ट कुकिंग लाइक कोल्ड कॉफ़ी और साबूदाना खिचड़ी ही नहीं, इट कुड बी एनी थिंग. इफ़ यू रिमेंबर, आई हैड द लिंक वुड बी देयर. I had shared a video on cycle of clothes. Now that is nothing but a sequence of events involving the child in a daily activity, but that whole cycle, how the t-shirt comes out from the cupboard, you wear it, it gets dirty, then it goes in the washing machine, so it's a complete cycle till the same t-shirt goes back in the cupboard. Or you start from you are wearing that t-shirt and how you again wear it after 5-7 days if it is your favorite t-shirt. So you wear it, it becomes dirty, and then it goes through a complete cycle. So we made that cycle of clothes as a story. So you have so many options in the entire day to pick from. We planted seeds, so we made a story around that. So ऐसा कुछ करो आप जिसमें उसके नरेशन स्किल्स पहले बिल्ड करेंगे हम, and then you can move to the favorite stories, the small ones, where he or she will be able to narrate it back to you. This basically we started this when I had to ask him at school में क्या हुआ, and he could just not narrate the whole thing in a smooth way. बहुत questions probe करने पड़ते थे तो जाके एक one word answer आता था. बाकी आप फ्रेम कर लो. Like he used to give you words, frame a story around that. So that's what we started. We went reverse. I started giving him words and situations and frame a story around that. In fact, अभी गणपति पीरियड चल रहा है तो this recalls me. I had shared my video, you all remember how I made my child do that whole sthapna with the play-doh Ganpati and everything. So we did that up to Visarjan, and then I made him write the story of Visarjan, story of Sthapna, the story of Ganpati Bappa's birthday. When there are so many other stories, why not a story of Ganpati Bappa? So he actually made he narrated the whole thing. तो धीरे धीरे करके एक ऐसा level आएगा where the child will actually be able to go back 10 days and narrate the whole thing, where he has lived that thing, he has experienced that thing with all the interest, fun, maza. Yeah, so hope this will help you get answers for your query. The third question, child is at 6 years age. He can read stories, but he can't relate or understand them. For him, it is just an English reading. So basically, comprehension. He listens stories from parents verbally. We are asking him to read and then explain. Tried cards, but he's not okay with visual clues. Concern sequencing is very tough for him. Reading and understanding the story is also tough. He listens stories from parents but can't narrate it back to us. Simple imitation like brushing teeth, etc. he can do, but can't imitate a story. Need your suggestions. Perfect. See, I just gave an answer to the query number 2. The same thing applies here. We have to involve the child, make him experience something, and then talk about that in the form of a story. So you can put up sequencing, you can put up questions, answers, story, narration, like थोड़ी देर पहले क्या हुआ उसका narration, and all this will actually, help you reach a stage where he can actually imitate the story. And let me answer to all the questions, and in the end I'll talk about how we used to enact the stories and situations. The next question that I have is present level 8-6 understands when he listens to them, answers the comprehension questions also, some rote learn favorite stories he can tell fully, shows interest in listening to stories, and understands if I explain through drawing, videos, crafts. So you've tried almost everything. But at bedtime, he's attentive even if no visual input. After repeated story sessions, he's more comfortable answering the questions. Sequencing cards he picks correctly. But the whole story he can't explain without the visual cues. Concerns while reading, his full focus is on the words and he doesn't try to understand the story. He has no interest in role playing the story. He can't tell a story how he understands sometimes, and this is a bit issue. Okay, so basically our issue is story initiation and sequencing and everything without the visual prompts. Basically we want to remove the prompts and let the child come up with his own stories. So again, the same thing will work here. In fact, stories we can make around anything and everything. Involve the child in something and then build a story around that which is more fun for him. तो पहले वो इंटरेस्ट आने देंगे, हम वो स्किल डेवलप करेंगे, उसके बाद वी विल मूव टू द रियल स्टोरीज, एंड ऑल्सो वी विल सी वेदर द चाइल्ड हैज़ achieved that level where he can ask questions. And so two things basically: to narrate anything, any situation, any part of the activity or the whole activity, and he can ask questions. जब ये दोनों चीज़ें प्लेस में होंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली स्टोरीज में भी ये चीज़ आने लगेगी. एंड ऑल्सो वी हैव टू कीप अ लॉट ऑफ पेशेंस एंड रिमेन इन द म्यूट मोड. अगर हमने एक बार कुछ पूछा है तो जैसे सपोज अभी कोल्ड कॉफ़ी का ही मैंने एग्जाम्पल दिया. You have worked on this thing like sequencing and narration with other things earlier. तो जैसे पहले छाछ कैसे बनाया, पोहा कैसे बनाया, इस पे हम कर चुके हैं, ठीक है. राइटिंग, सीक्वेंसिंग, नरेटिंग, स्टिकिंग पिक्चर्स, ड्राइंग, राइटिंग ऑन द बोर्ड, सब कुछ कर चुके हैं. नाउ व्हेन यू आर डूइंग इट विथ कोल्ड कॉफ़ी, ask, give the child space and time to come up with his answers and start either talking about it or writing and scribbling about it or drawing, whatever he is good at, whatever is his way of communication. But give him time. ये हमारी गलती होती है कई बार कि हम प्रॉम्प्ट करने लग जाते हैं. So we have to actually keep a lot of patience there, that नहीं, हमें नहीं prompt करना है. Even if he's taking 5 good minutes to think about it, you give him hints, you support indirectly, but don't start the story or don't feed words directly to the child, because they then become dependent on the prompts. They literally wait for that prompt to come up before they can start. वो ट्रिगर उनको फिर चाहिए होता है. So that is all about this particular question. Hope you find your answers in this. Question number 5. The only difference is in the age of the child. Rest everything is same. So I'm not taking the name of the parent, but your question is answered with question number 4, dear. Okay. Then we move to question number 6. Question number 6. Again, I think the real time situations converted into stories will work better to first develop the child. As your question is, you want him to find interest in stories as he keeps running away all the time. to improve his receptive language further. So we start with some objects, things around, build stories with that, bring it together, make it in the form of a story. Let the child take an interest in that first, and then we will move to picture stories, stories in the books with less text, and eventually फुल फ्लेजेड स्टोरीज. देर आर स्टोरी कार्ड्स ऑल्सो, शायद क्रिएटिव्स का या किसी और ब्रांड का आता है स्टोरी टेलिंग विद द सीक्वेंसिंग कार्ड्स, 3 cards, 4 cards, 6 cards. The common stories like the hare and the tortoise and the thirsty crow. बड़े कॉमन स्टोरीज जिसके आपको वीडियोस भी मिल जाएंगे, पिक्चर्स भी मिल जाएंगे. यू कैन स्टार्ट with those when you move to cards and pictures, but first begin with something from your day. The next question, he understands but seems not much interested, understanding and laughing, doing some actions. We do pretend play sometimes. He does pretend play sometimes, but alone, not telling meaningful sentences, just in words, 3-word sentence level. So how to make him ask questions and answer questions? Okay, so see, for questions, what we can actually do is, again, build very very small stories, and पहले तो हमें आंसर्स देना है, ठीक है. वी हैव टू कमेंट एंड हेल्प द चाइल्ड विद आंसर्स. जैसे एक बहुत छोटा सा एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. पावर कट हो जाता है तो इट गेट्स वेरी डार्क. व्हेन इट गेट्स डार्क, ममा गेट्स स्कैर्ड, द पावर इज़ बैक एंड आई एम सो हैप्पी. बहुत सिंपल सी चीज़ है, इसमें कुछ हमें करना नहीं है. एंड देन यू मेक इट लाइक अ स्टोरी, बड़ी एक्साइटिंग से उसमें involve it with the perspective, involve the child in a way that he is listening to you first, how you are answering to yourself. Then पहले बच्चा आंसर करना सीखेगा by filling the blanks in the by filling the blanks. So, oh my god, what happened, what went off? Prompt him to say power went off. ठीक है, बाकी पूरा आपने बोला, but one word he has to say. Then mama is feeling very, and you are giving that expression. He has to say scared. अगर वो नहीं भी बोल रहा है तो you just prompt in a way that he, पहले आपने नरेट किया, आप उसको बता चुके हो, he has heard you say those words. Now when you are doing it, he knows that हाँ ये word है. He might just resist in speaking up. तो हमें थोड़ा थोड़ा प्रॉम्प्ट करना सो दैट ही स्पीक्स अप. तो ऐसे कर करके पहले द चाइल्ड हैज़ टू, अगेन लाइक आई सेड इन माई आंसरिंग टू द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चंस, कुछ रियल टाइम सिचुएशन होनी चाहिए विच द चाइल्ड इज़ एक्सपीरियंसिंग हिमसेल्फ, तो वो चीज़ आती है. एंड देन पहले आंसरिंग इन वन वर्ड, देन आंसरिंग टू योर क्वेश्चन कम्प्लीटली, देन अ पॉइंट विल कम वे ही विल आस्क questions and involve with you in a full-fledged way. And for pretend plays, again a lot of exposure and experience is required. I have a video already put on YouTube, how to develop pretend play skills in your child. एक बार बहुत पहले ग्रुप में there were many parents asking after I shared my child's videos on how he pretend plays the whole day, like so that there would be messages on the group also, and there is a YouTube video link which I'll share with you personally. You can check that out. One more thing I just recalled, we used to watch a lot of movies together, not focusing on the storyline, but a lot of what would I say, picture reading हम कह सकते हैं. So I would pause the video and make my child read that picture and trying to make out what is happening in this particular picture. क्योंकि इसके पहले क्या हुआ था वो आपने पूरा देखा है. Even if you are not understanding the words, whether the story is in English or Hindi, but picture reading is something that the child picks. So we watched a lot of movies, एकदम simple, like if he's fascinated with trains, you show him movies where there is train, Chennai Express, और वो कौन सी मूवी थी, बजरंगी भाईजान. So ऐसे करके छोटे छोटे movies, and not that we have to finish off the whole movie in one sitting. We have a lot of power issues, so anyways वो हम चाह के भी नहीं कर पाते. We see the movies in bits and pieces. So that is also one idea of if we don't want to show them the cartoons and other videos, we can pick some nice healthy movies which we can show to our children and work on building stories, narration skills, reading pictures, and all that stuff. Question number 8. Again, see, you have been doing all that I discussed so far for, query number 1 to 7, picking up things from the real time. And try to add your child's own pictures in that. If you are doing a picture story kind of a stuff, try to add your child's own pictures. Or if you have been to some sightseeing places earlier and you have photographs from that, just try to bring in 5-6 pictures together and frame a story around that. So that builds the receptive language first. थोड़ा listening skills भी वहाँ से अच्छा होगा, because the child is very much interested in knowing about himself, and especially pick up a place where he really really enjoyed a lot and always wants to go to the same place again. It could be a play zone, it could be a beach, or any garden, museum, wherever you feel that he had his best of the times. So you can pick from there. And beginning storybooks which I used for my child, mostly Naisha series. I bought the whole set of 12 books. तब 12 आती थी. अब तो they have added a lot of books in that series. Recently only I was checking to help my student get some books for her child. तो नायशा के बहुत सारे ऐड हो गए हैं. एंड आई यूज्ड लेवल 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 लेडी बर्ड सीरीज़ जो आता है, तो उसका लेवल 0 का 2-3 बुक्स यूज़ किया था. बट मोस्टली वी यूज़ टू मेक आवर ओन स्टोरीज, ईदर फ्रॉम द रियल टाइम सिचुएशंस और making picture stories. And I also downloaded a few big picture comprehension ऐसे करके आप सर्च करिए, आपको मिलेगा गूगल पे. एंड आई ऑल्सो फॉर्चुनेटली गॉट सम बुक किसी बुक फेयर से जो पिक्चर रीडिंग वाला बुक था. सो देर आर जस्ट पिक्चर्स एंड ही रियली लाइक्स टू फर्स्ट द चाइल्ड रियली वॉन्ट्स टू पॉइंट टू द थिंग्स ही नोज और यू आस्क हिम इन द पिक्चर. फिर वो एक मैजिक क्रेट का सब्सक्रिप्शन हमने ले रखा था, तो उसमें भी आते हैं ऐसे पजल्स बहुत सारे. बड़ा फार्म का पूरा वो मैट बना हुआ है. तो ऑल दिस गिव्स यू डिफरेंट आइडियाज़, डिफरेंट रिसोर्सेज टू वर्क ऑन building stories. So not just the books always, we can actually start with something more than that. And now, like I said, towards the end I'll talk about how we used to enact stories. तो क्या होता था, जैसे मान लीजिए एक स्टोरी है, Pepper goes to the doctor. Now he was very very interested in playing with his doctor's set. I don't know where his interest came from, looking at me or from the videos or what, I really don't know, but he would want to play with it all the time. दादी को बेड पे लेटा देंगे, स्टेथोस्कोप से चेक करेंगे. Then he sees me how I prepare medicines when I courier it to my patients. तो he would fill up those होम्योपैथिक की छोटी छोटी फाइल्स होती हैं. ही वुड फिल दोज अप एंड आई नेवर सेड नो टू हिम, क्योंकि इट वाज इन अ वे दैट फाइन मोटर स्किल्स. मैंने उसको एक अलग सेक्शन दे दिया कि ये ड्रॉअर तुम्हारा है मेडिसिन का, यू प्ले विद इट हाउ एवर यू वांट. सो ही यूज्ड टू डू दैट अ लॉट. तो जब एक दिन हाथ में वो स्टोरी बुक आई, पेपर गोज टू द डॉक्टर, ही was reading it with full expressions. And बस उस moment पे ऐसे ही click किया कि अच्छा चलो let me just do it. I became the Pepper and I started talking with full expressions and everything. And automatically he became interested and he became the doctor. Now who becomes the mama? तो फिर हमने Pepper baby doll को बनाया और I became the mama. So we changed roles, but we enacted the whole thing. He literally went and prepared medicines ड्रॉर ओपन किया, मेडिसिन निकाला, बनाया. देन आई टॉट हिम कि अच्छा ऐसे प्रिस्क्रिप्शन लिखते हैं, देखो इसमें डॉक्टर अंकल के पास में एक लेटर पैड रखा हुआ है, बट इट इज़ नॉट अ लेटर पैड, इट्स अ प्रिस्क्रिप्शन पैड. प्रिस्क्रिप्शन क्या होता है, फिर वो देखा एंड ऑल दैट. सो उस टाइम पे इसका इतना इंटरेस्ट था. इफ़ यू रिमेंबर इन वन ऑफ माई ब्लॉग पोस्ट ऑल्सो विच आई शेयर्ड हाउ टू प्लान अ डे विथ योर चाइल्ड, उसमें भी आई हैव शोन दैट सेम एग्जाम्पल. सो विद द प्ले डो वी यूज टू प्रिपेयर मेडिसिन बॉटल्स, वी वुड राइट a prescription on the whiteboard, I would make him write. So a lot of things get covered up when you move around with the child's interest. Let him take the lead. जो वो कर रहा है उसमें आप खुद को इन्वॉल्व करते जाओ. रिसेप्टिव, एक्सप्रेसिव, नरेशन, everything comes gradually, slowly and in a stepwise manner. सब कुछ आ जाएगा. But make sure that the child is enjoying it. वो experience करते हैं जब कोई चीज़ तो they enjoy it more. So pick something which the child has lived through or experienced. Yeah, so that is all about all about stories, like our topic for this week's discussion was. Next we will move with the discussion on all about homeopathy, because there has been a lot of questions I read recently on many groups. So if you have any friends who you feel have questions on homeopathy, you can just join the group and be a part of this discussion. Or if you have any queries to ask, please feel free to post any questions with regards to homeopathy that you have. So on that note, we end this video here, and I'll put up the link for our Telegram discussion group in the description box below, if anyone who is not there on the group currently and wants to join and take part in the discussion. Chalo, see ya. Have a nice day.